welcome back to more Splatoon action, where we're heading into losers bracket now. So Team Booyah Beaches that we just saw unfortunately lose is back again for some revenge, and they're coming up against the pickup team we saw earlier. So this is the second pickup team we saw.
This is the first one, I believe, but I think the pickup teams are fluid right now.
No, this is the second one because this has got the...
Okay, sure. Sure.
The ones that got 3-0'd.
Regardless, it is a pickup team, so that is fine. We're just waiting for Yoko to get back to the station, and we can get this tournament moving along.
So I don't think we're doing Rainmaker Number 1 anymore.
I don't think so either.
You are good to go, so yeah, 1:30.
Oh, there we go. Setting it up. We're doing Splat Zones at Inkblot Art Academy. So, again, this is another map where it's one zone. There is some maps that have 2 zones, but right now we're so far just seeing ones with 1 zone in them.
Absolutely. This one here, the middle area is pretty open. Does this have the pillar? It does, right?
Oh yeah, you can say it's...
Well,
so,
different chains for different modes. So one thing that Splatoon does is, between different modes, in order to keep it balanced and change up choke points for different maps, they will just change the layout of a map depending on what mode it is. It can be a little confusing, but overall it just helps the flow of things.
Yeah, so Inkblot Art Academy here, where if you've played it in turf, if you played it in zones, it's got that a piece in the middle, display case-ish thing in the middle, the block that you can jump off of. In Clamblitz and Tower and Rainmaker, you wouldn't see that block in the middle.
You can see right now, the pickup group is getting a little impatient and just spamming that ready button because it makes this tiny noise every time you do it, and they're just trying to rush Booyah Beaches into picking their weapons. Typically, it's a lot of fun, but the war has begun.
Booyah Beaches has joined in.
Just waiting on Nintendo. Just waiting for that to come up.
Got one with
You're gonna do that as a spectator? Rude.
Nobody wants. Tried. That's too slow.
Yeah. Well, you tried. I saw the effort. I acknowledged it. Anyways, here we go.
What kind of rules do we have for volunteers nowadays?
We're on streaming now, dude.
So sorry.
All right. So matches started. Booyah Beaches looks like Timothy's brought out his classic brush, and I don't really know the pickup group too well, so we'll see how they do. Looks like Booyah Beaches is pushing into mid carefully, thankfully. Trying to make sure they have a few picks before fully pushing in.
Yeah, there's 2 people here on right. One got picked off. There's a jump coming in over here as well on the right. They're going to camp that jump.
Yeah, there is, it's important when you're in team play to, a lot of people will say, don't engage in 2v1. A good Splatoon player will never be in a situation where that's a thing. So that's what we saw there with Team B pushing in with 2 people, targeting 1 person, make sure that the numbers advantage at the very least.
Yeah, so this pickup team here, they were 3 down, so Booyah Beaches here was able to make a pretty good push here. Losing control in zones for a minute here. Regaining it, losing it again, regaining it probably.
Charmy using Splash and putting a little bit of change up. There's the zone cap yet again. Since the other team, the pickup group, didn't manage to get full control of that zone, they didn't put the penalty on, so it's just another 3-3 ticks till that's done.
Yeah, and you saw Booyah Beaches there. They had to use 2 specials to regain control of that map. So a lot of splats here going on back and forth, but that zone still remaining in neutral and back in control again for Booyah Beaches. Pickup team here, they were 2 down, so they're just coming back from spawn again, hiding up on that plat, kind of carefully trying to hide, but no, there's a hammer wreaking havoc up there on the plat, and that is the end of the match. So another swift and quick end of match there for Booyah Beaches against the pickup team.
Clear, decisive victory. All right, so we're waiting for the next match to get set up, and oh boy, it is it is not impossible for the pickup group to take this back, but they need to really leverage communication.
We'll be a part of it.
Level is, once again, level and skill will take you half the way, and communication is what sets organized teams apart from just solo queue. Is that 9? You got 9's friend code?
I have 9's friend code because I was the grain back when he did Grain Gain Fridays.
Oh, gotcha. So, sorry, we're talking about the little pop-up that came up in the top left corner. There is a well-known streamer who typically does commentary for a lot of Nintendo's official Splatoon tournaments called 9 Whole Grains. And he's both a really good player and a really good advocate for the community, keeping things positive, keeping things moving, and being a good source for people to watch and get better at. Like, you were talking about his graining grounds, which, you want to talk about that for a bit?
So he hasn't been able to host it for a little bit now. He's been in the middle of upgrading his stream, moving, and going on a lot of trips. But he would use it as an opportunity for you to kind of get in. Viewers could play in the matches and some private battles, and he would kind of commentate on it and kind of give you some tips on what you should have done, what you did do right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of help for the community.
If you're in a place playing Splatoon where you find yourself stagnating, you're not able to get past that next rank, or you find yourself losing consistently in a certain mode or map, the best thing you can do is find a way to record your own gameplay footage. When you're in the heat of the game, you often can't see what's going on and like why you're getting splatted or why your team keeps losing. But with a clear mind of just retrospect, you can see a lot of flaws and areas that you can improve in your own gameplay.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing behind his grading grounds, and we've done a little bit of that within the Alberta Squid Swamp as well. If you join our leagues for a season, we will organize private battles between certain teams, and typically when we do that, we have 2 spectators just watching the matches, either on stream or just recording the matches, and all they're doing is watching one specific person during the stream and giving them a video for feedback. If you don't have a streaming setup, there's nothing wrong with just setting your phone up and recording the TV screen. It's not going to be as the same quality as having a full capture card, but it is something that's a bit more accessible to most people.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a fun streamer who plays Splatoon and you kind of want to see more of this game and the more competitive side of it, definitely follow 9 Whole Grains. He's on Twitch, Twitter, and various Discord channels if you find your way in.
Many Discord channels, but overall he's just a really good guy to watch. Chill streams.
Anyways, so here we go with Rainmaker on Camp Triggerfish. Camp Triggerfish, another return map from Splatoon 1 with a few changes, as always.
As you can see from that overhead view, there's a lot of water on this map. It has a canal that divides the map into basically 2 halves, and you have only a few bridges you can get over to the other side with.
Yeah, depending on the map and mode depending on the mode that you're in on this map, that bridge in the middle isn't always there either.
Absolutely. The main thing I would recommend for this map is a lot of long range, because if you can't shoot over that gap, you're relying entirely on the flame.
You missed the wall, so it didn't actually hit the person who was trying to hit.
That was a good example of the Booyah bomb shield, just letting them stare in the face of that charger. In the meantime, Booyah Beach has put this thing onto these grates, which is a very tough push to make, because you cannot go into squid form when on grates. You would fall straight through to that water.
So Nintendo here doing a great job, kind of keeping the Rainmaker at bay, and the other team at bay away from the Rainmaker too.
Absolutely.
To just kind of get the rest of the team in to try to maybe pick it back up again.
Yeah, so there's a good thing to do in that situation is to just throw bombs to space the enemy out.
Nice bomb placement there.
Absolutely, that was a pretty good push by the pickup team here.
We got third.
Wait, was that the...
Yes.
Which side are we on? I got turned on. All the maps in Splatoon are symmetrical, and I get turned on a little bit every now and then.
Thank you.
So, if we can... Alright, now it looks like Booyah Beaches is trying to push on the left-hand side.
Are you sure that's not actually Ivo?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to look over at the seats, and I can't see the back of Ivo's head. He's getting some clean shots in, though. Ivo is typically really
Ivo
good.
is actually playing.
Okay, this feels like Ivo gameplay. When you play against someone enough, you can kind of tell who's doing what just by how they're moving around. And one of Ivo's key things is being able to survive when he really shouldn't. Pushed up far ahead and in the middle of danger. But, alright. This is going to be really good for, I lost my thought. What do we got here? So we
A
have
flank happening. Nice flanking happen here.
very good flank by Seph Orbit. Taking that team out and just opening the way up for the pickup team to push right in. Two confident players. Oh,
There's that bomb.
there's that stray bomb. Those stray bombs, they are very frustrating for me because when I play against Kimi here, that's typically how I get splatted. Plus the one's using the Splash Out Pro with its range, and I don't know if he's running a main power-up build, but it's typically a pretty good slaying weapon with good range. You see it a lot in ranked matches now because of that fact. You tailor it with your gear well, it's almost overpowered, I'd say.
Yeah, so we haven't talked too much about gear in this, but there's abilities you can put onto your clothing to allow you to kind of get a bit of an edge depending on what you're playing. Main power up on certain weapons will do what it sounds like.
Swim up, do that dunk! Yeah! Booyah Beaches takes that match.
But main power up will let you do a little bit more damage with each shot.
It has different effects on different weapons. It doesn't always increase damage. Sometimes it just increases the amount of turf that your shots will paint.
It also might help your shots be more straight if you're jumping with certain weapons.
Absolutely. So, there's lists online you can look at for all the different effects for that, or you can just look it up when you're choosing your gear. But yeah, certain weapons, when it does damage up, it can take you from having 3 shots to splat somebody down to 2, or 2 and like 0.1 of a point of damage, which means if they even stepped in a single drop of the enemy's ink, that counts as damage.
So now we're moving back into Clam Blitz on Kelp Dome.
Ooh, Kelp Dome. This one is another returning map from Splatoon 1.
Some people don't quite like this map.
Agreed. It's a big kind of square-ish arena and lots of walls around, so you kind of have to find certain avenues into the middle there to get where you gotta go. But I guess in Clam Blitz, you don't really need to be in mid aside from getting clams and just keeping pressure.
So there's 2 ways to get to the basket here on Kelp Dome. And they're very different directions as well. So from your spawn, you can go either left or right, and you can go over some grates into the opposing side up on the left, or you can try to take a different route through kind of like the mid right-hand side that gets you through a door is what we would call it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a narrow path, but their main push is going to be from the mid-right side.
Presumably. Each side has its advantage. Oftentimes, I will see people using the grates and that alternate route just for a flank. Especially if you've got a brush, like you see all these grates running up around the upper level here. You cannot turn the squid form up there, and you can't refill on your ink tank. And but that's where a brush is great because you can just glide along those things and get where you gotta go.
And it's also a very aggro weapon for clams because you can pick up clams pretty quick and run straight to the basket. But neither team here is running brush, so we won't see that this time around.
I'm honestly kind of shocked because Timothy is, he's using the. Actually, no, what is he using? I don't know. He normally uses brush or the Luna Blaster, and we're seeing something entirely different here. So I don't know if this is a comfort pick or a meta pick, but pickup team coming in the back door here.
They seem a little lost.
No, go on that mound, through it. Oh no, there's a little bit of a fumble there, but that's rough.
That was almost really good. If they beelined it straight to that basket,
They would have opened it.
They would have been able to get that power climb into the basket.
Absolutely. Seph Orbit here with the power climb up, teaming up with Ivo, trying to get that push in. Oh, did they get it?
Yeah, they
They
did.
got it. Nice. They are 2 down right now, so I'm not sure if we're going to see any follow-up clams, but they've got a few seconds left to make that happen.
Yeah, they've got, so up on the top of the screen under the weapons on each side you'll see a little number. We've got 10 on the purple side, 16 on the yellow. That's how many clams the team has in total of clams. in their possession. So if they're over that 10 mark, they could potentially make a power climb if they haven't already.
Yep. It doesn't show who has what climb, but it's a good indicator of if the other team has enough climbs to make a push, or even if you have enough climbs to make a push. Because like I've seen it a few times, especially in solo queue, where someone will break the barrier, but that's all the clams that your team has. No one else has anything else to follow it up to get any more points on the board. And then basically you're just donating your power climb to the other team, because they'll get that pity climb as soon as it falls out of that barrier.
Yeah, so orange team here defending that purple climb until it breaks, making sure no push can come out from that.
Absolutely, and they're making a concentrated push on this side here. Charmy taking a backliner protective position, just trying to keep turf down. And 10 bad, preventing any sort of. Oh no, Kimwood Baller got one pick off it.
But Ivo's over there with the hammer off.
Yes. Hammer is a nice. I like it obviously because it's a close-up weapon, which I like to use, and it also provides you quite a bit of protection up front of you, because when you're swinging that hammer down, it'll erase any shots or bombs heading your way.
So here we see what tie happened, where each team only got one power climb and that was it. The first team to get the power climb in right now was the one that gets the lead so far. So that's why the other team's points went back up to 81, because they're the second team to get that power climb in, creating a tie. So that means it goes to the purple team right now.
Yep, Splatoon doesn't like ties. They happen so infrequently, but there are systems in place to deal with that. And this happens to be one of them.
At least it's not by random choice.
Looks like Booyah Beach is getting ready to make a push. They've got 28 clowns on the board. Charlie taking a rear route, while the other members are just waiting around, waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, Charmy did have that special ready to go. Using that stingray.
Timothy's coming in here with.
Also has the special ready to go.
Absolutely. Looks like that bass is unguarded. They're going to make that push in. One in. Where's the other one? Been juggled there as the second climb in. So there's a lead for Booyah Beaches.
There's only the pro left. Pro goes down with the special, unfortunately. Doesn't get to use it.
Yep.
That's the end of that push for the orange team here. So purple now going to try and pick up some clams and make a
push those.
Make a push themselves. So they will get that pity clam as well.
Absolutely. I will. Picking people off with that. Is that ballpoint he's using?
No, he's just using a flat line.
I can never tell because he's very accurate. I can never see what his accurate. Yeah.
Or no, he's using the mini.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Pickup team breaking that barrier, forcing Booyah Beaches into the defensive here. We've only got 50 seconds left on the board. There's no follow-up clams to that. That's going to be a little rough because now Booyah Beaches has that kitty clam.
Yeah, unfortunately, only the power clam went into that one again, so that was only another 20 points, but with that penalty there, it was only worth 10.
I'm seeing a lot of good plays between Ivo and Saris Orbit, so I hope these two can pull it together and help the team push forward and get those extra points in. But it's looking pretty slim with only 20 seconds left on the board. Charmy coming in here with the Stingray, pushing that team back and painting a clear path for somebody to dunk a power climb in. But there was none already, so.
Yeah, unfortunately that Stingray might have been a little bit used a little too soon there because they didn't have a power climb ready to go to follow up with that Stingray. Ooh, nice pick there.
That was a very difficult pick to do because she could only shoot when the hammer was up ready to hammer down. But regardless, that is a victory for Booyah Beaches, who fought valiantly, and I saw a lot of good plays from the pickup team there. They had able to break the barrier down to, what was that, 70 they had? Or no, 60 I think they had it down to.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, on the results screen there, they've got letters beside their names noting what their rank is in solo. If they have lines beside their names instead of a letter, that means they haven't played ranked mode in that particular mode before.
And I think that's what we saw at the beginning of that match, where that person was wandering back there with the clam, didn't really know where to go with it, which is unfortunate, but with the pickup team, sometimes that's just what happens.
So Booyah Beach is taking the 3-0 victory here against this pickup team, meaning they get to get back up into the winner's bracket for now. But one more loss and they would be out. So they are still on the edge there.
Yes. I believe this was going to be the last match of today, because we still have one more time slot for Splatoon tomorrow. And I believe...
We don't do the second loser bracket today?
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be it for today. But once again, let me double check that. Back in a bit.